Good morning and welcome to the Vision Computer Programming webinar on how to run the 2010 Boys and Girls Club Annual Report. Thank you for being here. Vision works closely with BGCA every year to reprogram the annual report in member tracking. This allows you to get several pages of the report right out of member tracking each year. The 2010 report will be released in our next upgrade due out the first week of January. If you are unsure if you are eligible to upgrade, please call or email us at the office and we will be happy to let you know if your organization is eligible to download the upgrade. Everyone is muted for the duration of the webinar. However, I invite you to submit all questions through the webinar tool. I'll answer all questions during the webinar that are on the topic. Any off-topic questions, still feel free to submit, and I'll respond to those by phone or email after the webinar. Let's begin the training. In final preparations for the annual report, you will want to run the following procedures. From the main menu, go to Procedures. The first one you'll want to do is the compact and repair of the data and standards. All right, this is warning you that no one else will be able to be in the program while you run this procedure, so please make sure everyone is closed out and also that you're not in quick entry, and hit OK when you're ready. Please note if you're on a SQL backend that it will be unnecessary to perform this procedure. If you're not sure if you're on a SQL backend, you could go ahead and try it. It just won't work if you're on a SQL backend, and it'll let you know. All right, so the compact and repair is complete. I'm going to click OK. The next one to run is I'm still in Procedures. Go to the Members tab at the top. Oh, excuse me, the Tools tab at the top. And on the top right, select Repair Resolve Household Occupant Records. First, you'll select the button that says Repair Resolve Household Occupant Records, the first one on the left. You can see it went pretty quickly. I'm going to click OK. And now on the right, select the next button, Resolve Repair Household Stat Records. And it'll let you know when it's complete. Click OK, and then you just close out to the main menu. Now there are a few data routines that you can run to help prepare your data. We might discuss those at the end here. Let's go ahead and look at the report. Go to Reports, and at the top, go to the Organization Unit tab. And at the bottom of the middle column, select the Boys and Girls Club of America Annual Report. All right, we're coming to the Universal Selection Engine. Boys and Girls Club of America asks that you include any member who has been enrolled in the year 2010. To do this, you will select enrolled at least one day between January 1st, 2010 and December 31st, 2010. BGCA also asks that you run this report individually for each individual unit. So on the lower left, select Members Unit. Select one unit at a time and continue. This means that if you have 10 units, you will have to run this report 10 times, one for each individual unit. Okay, we're coming to a screen that's letting us know that this report was designed specifically for the BGCA annual report. It's hardwired to pull the numbers for one calendar year, January 1st through December 31st. It is not designed to gather numbers by month or week or any other date range. So you cannot run this report for anything other than January 1st to December 31st and still get accurate numbers. Right at the bottom of the screen, it's also letting you know about the data maintenance that you can run for data integrity on your report. The list includes the Find and Fix Missing Member Data, Edit Data, running a duplicate member report, consolidating households and people, deleting any unattended sessions, and running the Repair Resolve Household Occupant Records. Now, we did have a webinar already going through all of these data procedures. If you'd like to watch that separately, it's posted on our website. And again, if you have time at the end of the webinar, we might go over those. All right, so let's continue through this message, and we're going to get to the prep form for the annual report. All right, so now here on the annual report prep form, at the top left with the report format year, we're going to run this year's 2010 report. And it's asking us what data would we like to use from the calendar year. We're going to also make sure that that says 2010. You do have the option to run this report for last year's numbers, just for comparison's sake, if you'd like to see them. But for this year's report, be sure you have 2010 typed here. For a report subtitle, you can put anything you'd like in here. If you have more than one unit, it's helpful to put the name of the unit on the report subtitle line, and then it will show up at the top of the page on each page of the report. It's asking for you to enter your summer session dates. You can type the date your summer began and the last date that summer ended for you. And then date sensitive on data on this report calculated as of. Make sure that that also says 12/31/2010. Right at the bottom, we have an ethnicity conversion table. On the left is a list of all your ethnicities that are in your system. And on the right, we just want to match those as closely as we can to an ethnicity that BGCA has listed on their annual report. Now, it's okay to have more than one on the right. For instance, some clubs may have more of a breakdown on this ethnicity, like Native American. You might have actual tribes listed out individually. So on the right, you would pick Native American more than one time to match each of those. You can see on the left I have one called Other, and I'm going to match that to multiracial. So just make the match as closely as you can. All right, and we've got another tabs across the top. We're going to select the National Programs Conversion Table. Similar idea on the left, we have all of the activities that are in my program or in my member tracking system. So in the middle, what we're going to do is select any. We can look at this drop down here. These are all the activities listed on the BGCA annual report. So if any of them on the left match any on the right, you are going to match them up. And you can see for some of these, the report has anticipated similarities and has gone ahead and matched them up for you. Like if you have Power Hour, then it might just say Power Hour for you. Also, I'm having some refresh issues here with the webinar software. So if your screen is blinking, that's why. All right, on the right, also notice there are checkbox columns. One for meals, okay, one for snacks, one for Family Plus, and one for community service. So in addition to matching up any national programs in the middle, you'd also want to check off on the right if any of these programs are a meal or a snack, if any of them are a Family Plus, or if any are a community service. Also on the drop-down in the middle, at the bottom, there is also locally developed programming for fostering healthy lifestyles, Latino outreach, and also locally developed initiatives. So if any of your programs on the left fall in any one of these categories, be sure to select those in the middle as well. All right, once all your programs are matched up, Do the same thing for membership dues. All right, in the middle you'll see a list of all of your accounts. It looks like mine aren't showing. But you'll have a list of all of your accounts listed here, and on the right, make sure to turn on any checkbox next to any that are used for dues for membership. And then lastly, on the Fees tab, we're going to select any fee level that would qualify a child for having a free or reduced lunch at school. So you can see I have those two selected. Once you're done, at the bottom, select Continue. Just bear with me here just a moment. It looks like it was having some problems refreshing, so I'm just going to exit and go back in. So you'll just give me a moment here. Notice it has remembered all of my selections. And here's what we were waiting on. So it's giving me a warning that I have members with missing dates of birth. Do I want to fix them first? So definitely we want to make sure that all of our dates of birth and information is filled out completely. But if you happen to miss anything, it will warn you that you're missing dates of birth. So if you select yes, you do want to fix them first. It'll give you a list of all the kids that are missing dates of birth. And here you can just fill them out directly on the screen. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to select no. I want to go ahead and run the report with those missing dates of birth. And now I'm coming to the Boys and Girls Club of America actual annual report screen. Notice the screen is sizable, so you can make it bigger and smaller. I'm just going to maximize mine. Right at the top, each page has tabs for each individual page. So page 20, 21, 22. At the bottom, you can choose to recalculate the individual page or to recalculate all pages. I'm going to go ahead and recalculate all, and you'll see they're filling out right here. So if they're yellow, it's thinking about the answer, and if it's red, it hasn't gotten to it yet. So you can see it's filling out. It does have a lot of calculations to work out, so it might take a minute or two, especially if you've got a lot of kids and a lot of data in your club. This could take a couple minutes. All right, you can see we've got a notification that our calculation of all our pages is complete. I'm going to click OK, and now let's have a look at our report. All right, at the top, we do have a breakdown by age and gender of all of our members. If you run this and are curious about who is included in any of these counts, you can double-click on any of the numbers, and it's going to open up a box and give you a listing of all of the children that are included or all of the members included in that count. So for instance, if you have a 20-year-old listed and you know you don't have any adults at your club, you could select that number and actually find that member's name, close out of here, go to members, and check that person's date of birth. Notice I do have an unknown column. If you'll recall, I went ahead and skipped through filling out my missing dates of birth. So it did give me a few unknown ages. All right, we'll look down here. We've got a breakdown of ethnicity. Same thing here. If you double-click, you'll get a list of all the names included. This only works where it makes sense to work. There are some fields that you won't get names on. Right down here at the bottom, we have what percentage of regular members are from single-parent households, how many are qualified for reduced lunches at schools, and military personnel not living on base. Number 1 and number 3 are included on the household tab, and number 2 is right on the general information tab in members. All right, home zip codes, average dues per member. This is going to depend on what membership fees you've been adding into the system and what membership fees you selected on the prep form of this report to be included for dues. If you don't type in your charges and payments and member tracking, you can just calculate this number on your own and write it into the report after you've printed it. After you print this report, you do still have to go to the BGCA website and type your answers in on their website. So you will have the opportunity to report any numbers that are not calculated here on your own. So it's okay to just write the answers in and type those into their website later. All right, and down here we've got registered members that have been members for less than a year, 1 to 2 years, or 2 years or more. At the top, we'll go to the next page, page 21. All right, it's first asking for a breakdown by age and attendance for anybody that has had any registered annual visits in 2010, and this is totaling up and looking at your general attendance entries on your attendance calendar. Down below, they're asking for the same information about your school year. They're going to give you some attendance information. Also here, notice number 3, it's going to ask you for what days of the week and number of hours is your club typically open to serve youth in the school year. And also it asks how many total days was this club site open to serve youth during the school year. This is going to your your activity calendar and totaling up how many days you have had activities scheduled during the school year. And then it will also look at the hours that those activities were scheduled and total an average how many hours you're open each day of the week. If your numbers look incorrect here, it could be that you have scheduled activities to occur for more hours than you're actually open during the day, or perhaps scheduled activities on days that you were not really open on holidays. And again, remember that if these numbers are incorrect, you can just write your answers or your actual hours that you're open in and report those on the BGCA website. It's very important when you schedule activities to only schedule them for the times that the activities actually occur. All right, let's go to page 22, and it's asking, again, the same kind of information, but this time for summer of 2010. It's going to know when your summer was based on the summer dates that you entered in on that prep form right before we continued to preview this report. And again, it's going to look at your activity calendar here for these answers of how many days your club was open during the summer and what the hours your club typically were open each day. And then at the bottom, it's also going to look at general attendance to get attendance information for each of these members for just the summer month. All right, page 24 at the top. Grade progression. This is going to look at whether your members were graduated into the next grade each year. And high school graduation, if a person was moved from 12th grade into the next level, which usually is G for graduation, then it will give you an answer here for number 5. And number 6, it will give you a count based on those members. It's also asking for members with work experience, number 7. And number 8, also members with work experience. The people at BGCA who worked with us to build this report are aware that this is a new question and that you may not have been tracking this information throughout the year. They just ask that you do the best you can and keep in mind that you may have to answer this question again next year. So it may be some information you'd like to start tracking. And of course, if you already have information, then just write those answers in. They won't print on the report for this year, but you can write your answers in and report those on their website. And at the bottom here is academic success, and it's going to give you a total number of youth participating in 2010. This is a field that you can click on and get that count or list of names. All right, page 25. Same attendance breakdown, this time for good character and leadership. Page 26. At the bottom there is the same kind of breakdown for healthy lifestyles. At the top of the page, it's going to give you information on club or community-based volunteer service activity. Remember, on the prep form, those check boxes for community service and Family Plus activities. So that's where it's going to get that information. And I remind you again that you can submit questions. So if you have any, feel free to type those into the webinar tool. All right, on page 27, the last page of the report, it's giving us other initiatives, which is where the Family Plus. And then at the bottom, food programs, which is where we turned on all meals and snacks. Now notice here it's asking for sources of your food programs and also if your meals, how many were provided at no cost, and snacks provided at no cost. That information is not tracked in member tracking, but we will give you a total of all meals and all snacks in 2010 if you have been scanning members into meal and snack activities. So you can see I've tracked some meals here, so I've got a total of 20. But for some of these answers, you'll have to check those off on your own. All right, notice at the bottom you can reset all the pages and run it again if you'd like. Run one page at a time. So I just recalculated the pages. Now at the bottom we also have a preview and a print all page button, and you may also print each individual page one at a time. And again, you're going to want to close out of here and run it again for your next unit. Run it individually, one unit at a time. Right, once this is completed, we'll go through members and look at where all of the fields are populated from. All right, so if you hit the preview button, you'll get to see a preview where at the top you can print or even send to a mail recipient. And close the preview. And again, at the bottom, you have a print page or print all pages button. Just close to get out of there, and you'll be back at your prep form. Close again to get back to your universal selection engine, where you can come and select the next unit and continue and run the report again for your next unit. All right, let's close out to the main menu, and we'll have a look at members. So the very first thing that the report is calculating on is attendance. You can check members' attendance here on your Calendars and Activities tab. And you may also go directly to the attendance calendar and look at attendance for all your members. Be sure to enter in all your back attendance and that all of your attendance is in for all of 2010. All right, on the Member Info tab, here's your date of birth to calculate all of your ages. And here is your ethnicities, so be sure that all of those are completely filled out. All right, let's go to the Household tab. At the bottom here, notice that we've got a single-parent household, yes or no. Also, we have military branch, lives on a military base. Back on the Member Info tab at the bottom here is that fee level drop-down where you can indicate whether your member qualifies for free or reduced lunches. And then here on the zip code field is where it gets all of the zip codes for all your members. Average dues per members get calculated based on the charges and payments that you've added in here in the member's record. On the General tab, there's a club member tenure, letting you know when the member was first entered into your club, and that is where the program calculates what percentage of your registered members have been members for less than a year, 1 to 2 years, or 2 years or more. All right, and then all of that attendance information was again coming from Calendars and Activities. So any of these academic, leadership, or healthy lifestyles, good character, leadership, and citizens activities, it's going to calculate based on these activities that fall into those categories and any attendance that has been entered under them. So again, be sure that all of your attendance has been entered. All right, and then the food programming, again, is going to come from if you've scheduled snacks and meals as activities, and if you have actually scanned kids into those activities and have attendance there. I'm going to go back out to the main menu. I'm going to go ahead and go over those data prep procedures. So if you have not had a chance to run those and would like to see them, I'm going to go ahead and take a few minutes to run those now. So the first one, let's look at in procedures. And on the Tools tab is the Find and Fix Missing Member Data. You can run this for all members in the system, or you can run this for enrolled at least 1 day between January 1st, 2010 and December 31st, 2010 to just see this for the members who are going to be included on your report. You continue at the bottom. On the top left is a data group where you can select the drop-down and pick address to look at anyone missing zip codes. And you could fill those in right here on the screen. Also, you can look at date of births and age groups. At the top, if you turn off the checkbox next to age groups, then you'll see a list of everybody missing their dates of birth. We also have ethnicity, gender, religion, and social. So we could turn off social and religion to just see members missing ethnicity and gender. And so forth and so on, and you'll see a lot of these fields that you can select to view are fields that are on the annual report. So this is a quick and easy way to fill in any missing information. Another data cleanup tool is the Edit Data tool up on the top left of this Tools tab and Procedures. This allows you to correct any mistakes in your data entry for these fields that you can see here on your drop-down. So I can pick zip code and pick any incorrect zip codes or any zip codes that are missing digits, and then also select the correct zip code and change. You can see this one has been completed. Do another. All right, I'm going to close here. Another one that you might want to run is on the activities calendar. There is a delete unattended session button at the bottom. Be sure that you've entered in all of your back attendance before running this procedure. And what it's going to do is delete any activity that has been scheduled on a day that your club was closed, or any activity that a child has never attended. So if an activity was scheduled and no one ever checked into it, it will delete it. So you can make your date range the entire year. Be sure to select your specific unit. You can do this for all activities and delete unattended sessions. And then select OK once it is completed. All right, and lastly, here on the Reports tab, on the Members 3 tab in the middle, you can select the duplicate members report. And again, you can run that on the USE for everybody in your system if you want to see all of your duplicates or just enrolled in the year 2010. And continue. So on the left, you're going to select the fields to show on your report. So I'd like to show my member's name, unit, date of birth, and the address, and my member number. But you could pick whatever you would like. So if you find things that are helpful for you, you can turn those on. And on the right, fields to check. So I'm going to ask you to check for first and last name. So if anybody has the same name, they turn up on this report. But you may also want to ask it to compare dates of birth if you've got a large database. Then if the person has the same first, last name, and the same date of birth, they'll be included on your report. And then when you preview at the bottom, it'll go ahead and run that report for you. And then you can see a list of the duplicates that you might have in your system with all of the information you've asked to display. You can print this report and then take it with you, go back into procedures, go to the Members tab at the top. On the left, you can consolidate households. I'm going to go ahead and add in a duplicate member so we can run this procedure one time so you can see how it's done. All right, so I'm going to go back to procedures, and I'm going to go to the Members tab and consolidate households. I'm going to select my household. So 2 Aaron households, and I have 2 Ralph Aarons. I'm going to hit the green button in the middle. And now it's asking me to select any information that I'd like to retain. So you could move your radial buttons to the left or the right to select whichever information you'd like to keep, and hit Consolidate at the bottom. Now when you're done with this, at the bottom, select Consolidate Household Occupants. And this is where you will actually consolidate the people. So you can see you can select your household at the top. And I have both 2 Ralphs on the left, so I'm going to pick 1 Ralph on the left and 1 on the right. Be sure you only select the same person on the left and the right. So for instance, if I could pick Ralph on the left and Susan on the right, I would combine those 2 people together. So be very careful you're selecting the same person on the left and the right. Hit the green arrow in the middle. Yes, I'm sure. It's asking me to correct any overlapping dates here. So you could see I'm expiring on 12/31, and then I'm renewing on 12/28, which comes before 12/31, and it does not let you do that. So I'm just going to correct my enrollment dates, hit OK. And now, again, similar to the last screen we looked at where we select the information we want to keep. At the top, though, notice that there are tabs. So be sure to go through each tab. You can't undo this. You can't redo it. So be very careful that you're picking the right information here. And then hit Consolidate when you're done. This is complete and final. So again, be sure you're doing this very carefully, that you're picking the right people and information. I'm going to close back out to the main menu. I do have one question. Someone asked if we can run the annual report only for January through December, and that is correct. And again, that's because this is hardwired for BGCA, and we worked with BGCA headquarters to program it, and that is exactly what they need for this specific report is January through December only. If you have a fiscal year or a year that is outside of the calendar year, we suggest that you call BGCA headquarters and ask them how they would like you to run the report, if they want you to run it differently. But to our knowledge and their instruction, calendar year is what they're asking for. All right, and that concludes our training for today. This is our website, visioncps.com, and notice on the left you can go to Quick Tips, select the program you're using, and here are instructions to do most of the common things. We will have instructions on running the annual report here on the website. Also at the top, if you click here for the webinars, you'll get to our webinar page where we post all the recordings of each of these webinars. So if you'd like to watch any of these again or share them with any of your coworkers, here are the last few that we've done. And keep an eye out on your newsletter for more information and updates regarding the upgrade that will be released in the first week of January. Thank you for joining us today. I will leave the webinar tool open for another 5 minutes, so if you can think of any more questions you'd like to submit, please feel free to do so. Thank you and have a great day.